for the Dublin-Kilkenny Leinster hurling final. But first, it's the Munster football final as Limerick try to cause a big upset against Cork. Our commentator at Porky Queeve is Marty.
This is the Cork team that will start. It shows 3 changes to the selection that was picked against Kerry in the semi-final replay. Kieran O'Connor will wear 7 instead of the suspended Noel O'Leary, while Ger Spillane and Brian O'Regan replace the injured Anthony Lynch and John Miskela. This is the Shannon side team that will start with Stephen Kelly at full forward, the only change from the side that beat Clare in the semi-final. Keep an eye on 18-year-old centre forward Cormac Joyce Power. He's a real talent and will pose a serious threat to Cork, especially if Ger Collins and Ian Ryan can get into the groove as well. Ball runs kindly for Ian Ryan. Paddy Brown is to his left. Ryan goes for the score. It's top class. Great score. Challenge from Donegal O'Connor. Pumps it into the space. Given back by Ian Ryan. Skill by Stephen Kelly. Trying to set up Ger Collins. Here comes Collins now. Ray Carey unable to hold it. There's a bit of space. There's a chance of a point. And it's taken again. Who said they can only play hurling in Limerick? Long ball up for Donegal O'Connor. Keeping him company, Johnny McCarthy. Cork go into forward drive. This is a good move. It's still Goulding. He's getting through. And Rory Hickey has signalled that that is a penalty. And Stephen Lucy has gone in to protest. But here's Goulding going through. Well, there's a foot block there, and perhaps that's the reason. Donegal O'Connor scored a penalty against Kerry in the semi-final replay. He faces Sean Kiley. Crucial moment in this Munster final of 0-9. Here's O'Connor. Slips it by Kiley with ease. Cork are back in the match. One advantage from a Limerick perspective is that the penalty has come quite early. That's what the script is to be. Ger Spillane gives the ball away. Limerick still operating that 2-man full forward line. Here's their captain from Drumculloher Broadford, Shawnee Buckley. Hits it on the meat, hits it perfectly. That's a very good response. It's impressive. Alan O'Connor. There is Donegal O'Connor. It's an O'Connor double act and Kiley gets a touch. And great defending by Limerick. And Paddy Brown in particular. Stephen Lucy. First to the ball. Being fouled blatantly by Pierce O'Neill. And Lucy, to his credit, continues on with a quick ball for Ger Collins. Looking around at options. Gives it for his right half back Stephen Lavin. Retaining possession. Stephen Kelly plays with Shannon in the rugby world. Backfires Ian Ryan. St. Senan's points. Good combination. Great score. Limerick are playing mighty stuff, and you'd have to be impressed with them. Carl Ranahan is challenged by Paul Kerrigan. Ball is just into the path of Stephen Kelly, and he did well to gather it. Great challenge. Here's a chance for Lavin! Across the face of the goal. And it was only centimetres away. Ball in for Ian Ryan. Ger Collins is coming out to meet him. The overlap provided by Shawnee Buckley. On the turn. Takes the kick. It's looking good. And Limerick have had a most impressive opening 35 minutes in this Munster football final. It's been a most enjoyable first half. Can the second half match that? Let's see what Ger Collins and company can do from Limerick. Gets inside the cover, turns onto his left boot, and Limerick are on their way. The run through comes from Ger Spillane. formerly all-star centre-back, now playing on the wing. Over far is Alan O'Connor, flicking it forward, far is Daniel Goulding, he goes for it, oh, Kiley saves! Magnificent save by the Limerick keeper. This was a straight one-on-one between Daniel Goulding from Éire Óg and Kiley from Bruff. Had to put it away. Kiley deflected it over the bar. Kick out by Kiley is a lengthy one. Graham Canty. As Cork now begin to believe in themselves. Pumping in another high ball. There's a knockdown for Goulding. He's testing the keeper again. Brilliant goal. Cork people rejoice more with relief than anything else. The long ball strategy occasionally works. The knockdown for Goulding was superb, and this occasion Sean Kiley had no chance. Paul Kerrigan. Goulding gets the return again, thought about a shot, has to make a bit of an angle for himself, and Cork are back in the driving seats. Well gathered by John Galvin. Lays it off as Ian Ryan. Wants to take the free quickly. Any options available? Not really. Tries to get Stephen Kelly involved. Good hands again. Great layoff by Collins. Here's Lavan. Here's the point. Limerick have the character. Cork now counter-attack. Donegal O'Connor loses control. It's a fair challenge. Picked up by Jim Donovan. Almost. Still Donovan. Alan O'Connor acts like a vacuum and puts Cork back into the attacking mode. Donegal O'Connor surely fouled by Johnny McCarthy. Referee agrees. Free is quickly taken. Colm O'Neill. He's good on the left peg. It's curling, it's dropping, it's right, and it's dead on. Great score by Colm O'Neill from Ballyclaw. Neatly picked up by Pierce O'Neill. Gives it to Daniel Goulding. Scored a cracking goal. Was that a foul? The referee says no. Second time it is. Free in for Cork. Mickey Ned O'Sullivan. Time for a little bit of concern for him now. No doubt about the foul the second time. Donegal O'Connor hits this well. It's a goal and a point. The corner forward from Ballydesmond. Time for leadership now from Limerick. Who has it? Who wants it most? Jim Donovan. Coming through Jason Stokes. Here's a man who's given everything to Limerick football. Johnny McCarthy flicking it out. Right man, right place. Stephen Kelly. He got a toe at it and he gets a point. 1 point between the teams. 2 minutes left on the clock. But Limerick had to work so hard to get this point. Limerick need to keep the ball down here and try and regain it, but it's all over. Cork are the Munster champions for the 36th time. For Limerick, the 113-year wait continues. But Cork will be so relieved and Limerick will be devastated. Full-time score here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Cork 2-6, Limerick 11 points. Well, Cork will be mightily relieved. They're the Munster champions for the second year in a row as Graham Canty lifts the trophy.
We just knew there was more on this team. Like, we knew if we played the way we can play against Kerry, move the ball fast and kicking scores from far out, that we have a chance. Like, we were only 3 points down with hardly any possession. They were well over us in the first half and we were still within 3 points when we knew if we played to our capability that we could take these.
It's hard to be more disappointed than the 32 lads that are inside in the dressing room. Lads who have given their heart and soul all the year to this dream. That to end the defeat of 114 years and to be so near and yet so far away, just to lose out by 1 point. Last year it was a goal in the last minute, this year it's a point. And so it was obviously very disappointing, but that's sport. Sport can be very cruel and sport is a very great leveller.
Did you think a couple of decisions went against you? I mean, did you think the penalty was a penalty?
Well, to be honest, I couldn't see it fully, but I'll have to give the referee the benefit of the doubt. But for the best of my knowledge, I could not see any reason for giving it. It could have, they were all jostling. It could have gone out as well as in. But it's a terrible way to impart justice after 114 years.
Well, with us to reflect on the game now are Anthony Tohill, Kevin McStay and Tommy Lyons. Thanks for joining us, lads. Tommy, the penalty, main talking point.
Absolutely, Des. It was the main talking point of the day. But, you know, I suppose when you are the underdog, you need the bounce of the rub of the green on a couple of these kind of decisions. 2 50s were given, 50s were Cork, ironically Cork kicked them wide. So, you know, it just showed the type of things that were going against Limerick. The little things, if you're really an underdog, here we see Shane Gallagher and Mark O'Riordan coming in. You know, the ball's already gone from him. Now, the referee's position in this was straight behind and the diamond. There he is there looking in. So he really couldn't see that. He made a call, a penalty. You know, as an underdog, you need to get those. I mean, you know, Cork will probably be claiming that it was, but I certainly don't think it was a penalty.
All right. Were they lucky in the end, Cork, Kevin?
Oh, they certainly were, yeah. I mean, that was a huge turning point. Brought them back into a game that they were struggling so badly to get into. They had a horrific start to the game. And, you know, just didn't seem to be focused on what this final was. And this was a doubt a lot of people had about the Cork guys. Were they going to be able to handle the expectancy? And what we really got was a very casual opening sequence from them. Just they didn't seem up to the game, up to the pace of it. I picked out 5 here, and it's not against any particular players. You just see these are horrible turnovers. I think there was about 19 in total for Cork turnovers, and these led directly to scores. This is a terrific one by Shawnee Buckley, but it comes from a Cork position of attack, but they just overhit it. This is dreadful. Straight to Ian Ryan, who punished it beautifully. He had a lovely first half. There's an overweighted hand pass, another key turnover. And this was going on all day. I know Conor Coonan would have said, you know, we don't disrespect Limerick and so on, but complacency gets into your mindset, you know, unnoticed. And the players would have been told about it. They would have said, yeah, hear you, coach, I hear what you're saying. But it seeps into you, and my sense was that Cork were well off the steam because they got complacent.
I know, but could it not be said now that it was a great result for Conor Coonan? They won. The players have got their warning.
Yeah, in hindsight, but I mean, they've just fallen over the line by the skin of their teeth. They wanted to win the Munster Championship for sure. Yes, it's a great result now because it looks like they might have taken their foot off the gas a little bit, perhaps in the training ground or in the preparation, as well as the complacency I touched on. So that would leave them in there's plenty in the tank for them to call on yet.
Okay. It's probably unfair to Limerick, Anthony, if we just say Cork didn't play well.
It's doing them a massive injustice. I know that Cork did make mistakes today, but I thought that a lot of them were forced through the sheer pressure that Limerick were putting on the Cork players. I thought they were fantastic right from the start today, and you know, to 113 years of history in the palm of your hands out there today, and they were so close to winning that game and for it to slip away. But this is right from the start of the game. Decent ball into the Cork forward line, but the Limerick backs were out in front, one in the 50-50 balls and coming out, using the ball sensibly. And the pressure that they're putting on the Cork here coming out of their own defence, absolutely fantastic. Limerick gave every single thing they had in their bodies out there today, and it was a shame that they just fell that wee bit short. You know, we know Limerick are a good side. We talk about some of their good players, but look at, you know, Stephen Lavin coming in absolute desperation to try and win that game for Limerick today. Shawnee Buckley and Ian, we know it'll be Ian Ryan, but Shawnee Buckley had a tremendous first half today. Ian Ryan kicking points that we know that he can do, but it's an absolute shame, heartbreaking for Limerick, and I think, you know, everyone outside of Cork, your heart goes out to Limerick tonight.
Mickey Ned made the point last year, was the 2 late goals, this time a point. Are they capable of building on this?
Well, they are, Des, but you know yourself how hard it is to get back to where they were today. You know, they were 3/4 of the game, they dominated that game today. They were 15 minutes away from winning a Munster title. You look at when are they ever going to be back in a Munster final? You know, Kerry are probably not going to be as bad as they were this year again for a while. I think it's a long way back for them, but they have good players, and the only thing they can do is build on the positive aspects of today. They can't, you know, can't be too despondent about the result.
And where are Cork, Tommy? They were in the top 2 or 3 in most people's betting.
Yeah, we had them probably as All-Ireland winners after beating Kerry. I think Cork are still there, Des. I think the real qualities of the leadership in the team, Graham Canty, you know, he showed incredible leadership in the second half. He drove the game on. And the one man up front that, you know, was maybe we were wondering, is he really the real deal? Daniel Goulding delivered big time when nobody else played around him. And I think Colm O'Neill came in for James Masters. I'd expect to see Colm O'Neill starting the next day. He did make a big difference. I think Cork are in the bank holiday weekend in Croke Park. That's where they want to be. They have a lot of questions to answer still. A lot of people will say they're good one day, bad another day. They now need to give 3 big days in Croke Park to bring Sam down there.
All right. Would Tyrone have a like that, Kevin?
Well, you could argue, in fact, that they've been maybe in third gear up in the Ulster Championship. I think their ball handling is something we've come to really admire. They protect the rock very well. They make sure it gets to their own players, and you don't tend to see that sort of edginess or casualness in their play. But every team is suspect on any particular day. But I think Tyrone jump back into kind of pole position for me now in the rankings after this. I know we're jumping from one week to another, trying to draw straight lines, and it's very difficult with Championship football. But Cork are still there, but they've